TG Geeks, episode 230, July 15th, 2019. Just make it up! Hello and welcome to another webcast from tggeeks.com, where Ben and Keith, the Two Gay Geeks, talk about all aspects of geekdom and nerdery, sci-fi, comics, film, horror, genre. You name it, we talk about it on the podosphere. I am Keith Lane, and we are coming to you from TG Squared Studios in lovely Phoenix, Arizona, but we're driving back from Los Angeles right now.
Yes, and I'm Ben Raggington, feeling terribly time-shifted.
Yes. Even though there's no time shift right now.
No, but, well, will be time shifted in the future.
Yeah.
If that makes any sense. Yes, I think at some point, no, we're asleep in our hotel.
Well, yeah, actually, when this officially releases, the time of release.
Yes, you might be waking up.
Well, yeah.
But I won't be.
3 o'clock? Yeah.
I won't be waking up in Los Angeles, California.
Yes. So we're recording this episode early, so that's why we're all the craziness that we have here.
Yes,
because we're going to be in Los
LA
Angeles
for something rather special that we might talk about a little bit later.
So we're going to get on with it here.
Prepare for hyperdrive.
Meanwhile, in the Hall of Episodes, the Two Gay Geeks are discussing this.
Well, in this episode, we have Yvonne and Sarah Jayne from Nexus Production Group, and we talked about it last episode. They have a unique way of filming or making films, and that is it's all improv. So we're going to kind of talk to them about that and see how that is. I was a little kind of skeptical at first, but it was a very good interview.
It was a very interesting one.
Yeah. And we have our birthday shout-outs, featured podcast of the week, and then we have some feedback. And as always, we have our shout-outs interspersed throughout the show. We'll have our second segment where we'll talk about a couple of things. And our weekly recap, that weekly recap is going to be kind of subjective because we don't know exactly what we're going to publish. There might be some things that actually come along in addition to what we've kind of set up. And then we have a regular shout-outs. So we're going to get right on with this interview. And this time on our show, we have Yvonne and Sarah Jayne from the Nexus Production Group, and they're calling us all the way from Malta. And welcome to the show.
Cool. Thanks for having us here.
Yeah.
Great to be.
So
Malta.
From
Wow.
Malta. That's
Yeah.
kind of...
That's like a vacation resort these days, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's always sunny.
And we've made it our little home for the past almost 2 years now.
Yeah,
It's always sunny, even at night.
That's cool.
I know, not at night, but yeah, it's sunny. Like it's 19 degrees now, and it's not summer yet, so it's really beautiful here.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's nice. So we're here to talk about Nexus Production Group, and you have somewhat unique way of filming. But before we talk about that and what you've done, let's talk about who you are, Ivan and Sarah Jayne, who you are, how you got into the filming business or a filmmaking business, and then we'll talk about what you've done and your unique approach to filmmaking. So who wants to go first?
Okay, I'll go. I can't remember how long I've been making films now. Over 10 years it's been.
Okay.
But I basically, for a long time, wanted to be a novelist. When I was young, I studied professional writing at uni. Wanted to write the Great Australian Novel. But then one day in uni, I actually helped a friend of mine make a film, and I just fell in love with the process because, it was just so immediate. You see the characters that you're writing, they come to life right before your eyes. I helped my friend direct, and I realized, this is, what I want to do with my life. So I just kept doing it. The first film's absolutely horrible, but, with time and practice, you slowly get better and better. And, these days I barely write and just focus on filmmaking.
Yeah, absolutely. You don't want to hear our first episode.
No. No, the first time it's always got to be garbage. Although, no, I take that back. We've actually known there are a few first-time filmmakers who right out of the gate create something that is remarkably...
it's amazing.
It's amazing. And, of course, it makes the rest of us feel completely unworthy.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah. So how about you, Sarah Jane? How did you get the bug?
I've always been a creative child, writing, dancing, drawing, that sort of thing. And then in my 20s, I sort of was a bit of a suppressed artist where I didn't do much at all. I was just working and just not even artistic work. And then in 2006, I got asked to be part of the art department for this TV program on Channel 31, which is like a community TV station. And someone thought I was someone who I wasn't and put me on the art department team. And then I just started building the sets and decorating it, painting. We built a whole police station. And then I felt like this is really what I want to do. Felt like the child was alive again. So I just started pursuing that, asking everybody, do you need a set designer? Do you need someone to help you build sets and paint and draw and all that kind of thing? So I just started off like that. And then in 2013, I started working with Nexus Production Group because I met Ivan in 2009. So, yeah, I did that. And then 2013 was when I started directing.
Wow.
So I've gone from production design to directing.
That is incredible.
Hey, everybody's got to make that move. I mean, I've heard of so many people in the industry that, they start off just doing this one, what seems like a menial task, and then just through the course of events, next thing you know, they're directing features or directing episodes and find, it's like, oh, this is the calling I've been after all my life. So, kudos.
Yeah.
It takes a while, I think, to find kind of your calling in life. In my 20s, I drifted a lot of different jobs. I can't remember how many jobs I've had, but, eventually you find what you want to do.
I was very, I wasn't very focused in my 20s. I was all over the place and I didn't know what I wanted to do. I never knew at high school what I wanted to do with my life. And I always sort of drifted. And then when I met everybody in 2009, I met Ivan and I met Tom Vogel, who was running a film night. And the person I was actually working on set with in 2006, Steve Travascus, introduced me to these guys. And I was like, oh, my God, I found my people.
Yeah,
wow.
well, yeah, I mean, your experiences, especially when you said in high school and college, didn't know what you wanted to do. I mean, yeah, welcome to the rest of the 80% of the world. I mean, I was the same way.
Well, I still don't know what I want to do with my life except be rich.
Well, that, but okay, yeah, I'll give you that one. But in terms of activity, I mean, we've been doing this for 5 years now, and it kind of feels like, yeah, this is sort of what I've been wanting to do all this time. And unfortunately, I didn't get to figure that out until I was in my 50s.
Yeah. So tell us about Nexus Production Group. Obviously, it is a co-venture between you, the two of you, and there's other partners, is that right? Or
there's two other partners. Myself and Sarah are based in Malta, and we have another partner, Patrick, still in Melbourne, and a fourth partner, Clara, in New York. And it was actually myself and Patrick that began Nexus back in, I think, 2006, 2007. It wasn't even called Nexus back then. It was called Nameless. That's how creative we were at that time. Eventually we settled on Nexus. And in the early days, we pursued all sorts of genres, westerns, horror, comedy. And I think it was when I kind of met Sarah, we began working closely together that Nexus began to evolve to more, relationship, drama-centric films. And, today that's pretty much become our focus.
Yes, when I started directing in 2013, I'm also a writer. I've been writing from a very young age, so I always had that sort of writing and storytelling background, and I used to dance and to do other expressive arts. So when I met Ivan, and in 2013, I said to him, I think I want to like turn one of my stories into a short film. And he said, I'll help you produce it. I had no idea how to produce anything then. And I was like, all right, if you want to help me, I'll direct it. And I also did all the production design on it as well. So
cool.
Kind of worked that way. And then I just sort of ventured into Nexus. I sort of worked my way in.
That's incredible.
Well, what I think is amazing is how technology is making it possible, because you said all the people that are involved in running Nexus, and you're all over the place.
Yeah,
we are
international.
From Australia, we just like ventured across the world now.
Yeah, you just need somebody in like China or Japan or Vietnam or something,
But it was always the idea to have like a team, collaborating the same, kind of pursuits, a team you can rely on. I've always wanted to grow it, so today it's 4 members, but who knows in the future how many people will be part of it.
You never know.
With everybody kind of spread out, I mean, now you did say that the vision in terms of what you're creating is more drama-centric, but have you noticed, because, you were very diverse in the beginning, but with everybody kind of spread out, does that sort of create a rather wide point of view, shall we say, on a creative level?
I think that more goes for Clara, who's in New York, and she does a lot of like activism, and she's into that whole scene in New York with women's movements and those kind of shifts. So she has a different perspective on a lot of things, especially with the government there and everything. So it is a different perspective coming from New York, where Clara's from. And when she helped us with our film Incorporated, she produced it, she brought a lot of her different elements into that story as well.
I would think that would be a very strengthening kind of thing, where out of all these, out of these differences comes a certain sort of synergy that could only help build the Nexus brand.
Yes, true.
So Patricia indicated to us whenever she introduced us to you that you have kind of a unique way of filmmaking. And is that something new, or is that something that you just I won't say stumbled upon, or that you discovered with your previous films, or is it something that you're trying now? And I'm trying not to give it away. I'm going to let you tell the story.
Things got really old, and we got over other people's like crap, and we just got over doing scripts and working with a big crew and all.
Well, basically, we use improvisation. That's like how we make our films. It started with Friends, Foes, and Fireworks, our feature that we shot in a single night on New Year's Eve. I think we shot that 2017, 2016.
Because we both worked in the film industry for about 10 years each, and we've had a lot of different ways of working and worked with lots of different crews in Melbourne. And then after one project, we just felt like it was a lot of people involved, a lot of different producers, and we just felt burnt out by that. And we were really losing the passion for filmmaking. That's why I said we sort of grew up and we sort of got fed up with a lot of things, and we had to reevaluate what we wanted to do and which way we wanted to take our work and what was fulfilling us.
Yes, so for us it was a point where we're at our breaking point and we just need to revitalize our love for film. So we tried to strip away, really get everything back to basics, and we love working with actors. We love keeping the crews small. So let's actually collaborate with our actors as closely as possible. Let's create with them. And improvisation seems, like the way to go to have that relationship. Friends, Foes, and Fireworks was an experiment. We didn't know how it would go, but, we enjoyed the process of improv so much that we've just kept doing it ever since.
We were watching a lot of films at the time, because we were looking at relationship dramas, and we had a lot of the Duplass brothers and Greta Gerwig. We were watching a lot of that stuff from the mumblecore movement, because we saw a couple of mumblecore features in Australia, and that really inspired us as well. How do we talk about relationships in a natural way? And that sort of moved into improv from watching those films and being inspired by filmmakers in America, the mainstream stuff, and also what we were seeing in Australia from our friends and our fellow filmmakers.
So is this, do you provide some sort of framework then for where you want to go with the film or the short film? So you kind of give the actors some kind of guidance, and then they take it from there.
Yeah, there's always an outline. Even right now, even today, I was working on an outline for a film, another feature in development called To Hold the Moon. And there's like the third draft of this outline. So we actually spent a lot of time really trying to, get all the story beats in order, get all the characters' backgrounds and how they relate to each other. So it's quite detailed, and even rehearsals, there's no script to learn because there's no like dialogue, but we'll spend time talking over with the actors, discussing their characters and the relationships, and we'll even recreate scenes that they would have shared with each other in the past, and we'll film those to give them like a common grounding that they can draw upon for the film. So even though there's no script, it's still very detailed, and a lot is put into the outlines.
Right. That is very interesting.
That makes more sense. When I think improv, it's like, you pluck people off the street and plunk them down into a spot and say, talk. And it's like, oh, dear God.
Yeah, because we have seen some movies that were improvised, no scripting, and they come off as very stilted, but then there are others that come off as just sheer genius. So I think your approach is very unique, and
hopefully we're leading towards the latter.
Yeah, well, no, it sounds like, I really like the idea of you having your cast of characters, acting out scenes from things that take place before. So it kind of gives them a sense of a background and a sense of motivation. So, as of course, working in an improvisational sort of atmosphere, that certainly opens up the floodgates for other unusual challenges, as opposed to working with just a featured script. When working on something like this, what kind of challenges, surprises, shall I ask, what kind of surprises have you had to deal with working in that particular mode?
We'll both answer, I think. I think Ivan will talk a little bit about the editing. Like when he's editing, he has to make the scenes obviously match. It can't be like doing one thing and then saying something completely different the other scene. So as a director, you have to watch a lot of what's being said. So you have to not only watch, but you have to listen, and then you have to actually think, this is going to work, is it going to cut to this? And it's all happening in the moment. So you're not going to get a take like that again. So you have to work really quickly. You have to be really switched on and know, because that's a challenge in itself, just trying to make sure the story is going not the way you want it to, because you don't even know which way it's going to go when it's improvised, but going towards the beats that you want. Is it trailing off? Is it becoming boring? Is it stagnant? Mm-hmm. So you have to keep watching that the whole time, seeing if it's all working, and then also you have to think about it as an editor, which Ivan will.
Yeah, well, what Sarah's mentioned was a very good point, because when you're working with a script, you might have in mind how you want a performance delivered, but when you're working with improvised film, there is no dialogue, so you don't even know what the dialogue is until you hear it from the actor. And so you have to analyze just this extra element. Is it too wordy? Is it not wordy enough? Is it getting across what you want to convey in this scene? And you have to constantly be on the ball, because as soon as we cut, the actors always turn to us, like, how is that? What do you think of what we came up with there? So you have to really be switched on. And in terms of the challenges, technical aspects, with sound, the boom operator never knows who's talking next. So It's always a challenge to capture the sound. So you're using lapels along with a boom. If we have the budgets, it's always recommended. We always do 2 camera minimum for the bigger projects for our features, just because you need coverage, because no take is going to be exactly the same as the previous take. Right. Which makes it a big challenge in editing also. So we film a lot of cutaways to get from one scene to the next. And it's always, it takes a long time to put it together in the edit, just because you have so many different options.
Right. Yeah, we learned to shoot a lot of cutaways, so if we have something to turn to, we didn't get that shot of Lara talking about that. So it's just we've learned a lot from doing Friends, Foes and Fire, so we did that so quickly in one night, and we just learned so much from that one. So we're taking that onto the other sets that we do with Incorporate, of course, and then our next one we'll keep that in mind also.
Right. Well, that was going to be my next question. Did you do multi-camera and various takes, moving the cameras around in different spots so that you can actually have more to edit?
Yeah, we do.
More to confuse us.
We first
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. It incorporate which is our latest feature that we have in post right now. That was both multicam and it's kind of like a fly on a wall style. So you're kind of very doco style. We just have the cameras, handheld, following the actors around. But we are slowly beginning to experiment by keeping the cameras still. We're doing these micro shorts called Life Improvise, just 3-minute shorts about relationship, little moments. And we're practicing you're keeping the camera completely still for that. How's it going to go? Let the actors wander in and out of frame. How's that looking? Mm-hmm, and we're liking the results so far. So maybe on the next feature, that's the way we'll go.
You've seen a few films that inspired us to do that. So
you have that footage that you're looking at and you say, where the hell does this fit in this film?
Yeah, I mean...
Why was she talking about that and now she's talking about something else? Yeah. Sometimes it trails off too. I like to let the characters just sit there, and when they have a deep conversation, like at the end of Friends, Foes and Fireworks, the scene between Summer and Lucinda, I just kept it running and there was just this awkward silence between them and then a kiss, and it was really sweet. It's like if I had called cut, we don't know what you would have missed out on. So I like letting it run a bit, but sometimes it does get a bit stagnant and it just trails off. You're like, oh, what are they talking about this for?
You have to be almost like a fortune teller when you're working on these things, because being that it's so improvisational. I mean, I hate to overuse this word, but the word that comes to mind is it's very organic. And it's spontaneous, and you just have no idea where this can possibly go. And my hat's off to the both of you, because that is a very tricky form of filmmaking to work in.
To make it work,
It feels so authentic. Also, some of the feedback we've had for Friends, Foes and Fireworks, it's listening to the conversations of real people,
watching your friends. Yeah.
So and even how people stutter in real life, they talk over each other. So that's where you get with improvisation. You're just kind of real dialogue, and actors are kind of forced. They're not waiting for the next line. They're forced to react to what the other actor is saying to them. It's all completely on the spot.
Right. What about your cast? Because not everybody is cut out for that kind of work. I mean, you've got there's some amazing actors out there that can just deliver the most beautifully scripted lines, but if you ask them to be improvisational, they're going to start stuttering and tripping over their own feet verbally. So how do you select that right kind of cast? I mean, do you have some kind of an audition process? I'm curious about that.
For Friends, Foes and Fireworks, because it was a bit of an experiment for us, we wanted to see if we actually pull off this improvised film in one night. We approached people that we already knew, actors that we already knew in the industry. We've both been doing this for 10 plus years each. And the Melbourne film scene, everyone sort of knows everybody. So who does theatre, who does, this sort of out there avant-garde sort of stuff. And then we sort of knew who to approach. We'd love to work with this person again. And, I saw this person in a film. She was great. So, and it was people basically that we cast, people we've worked with before. So, films that we've worked in, we've already cast. We worked with Whitney Duff a lot, who plays Lucinda. We've seen Lara before in other people's films, and we haven't worked with her. We worked with her in Half, actually. We did work with her. She had a small part in Half, and she was really great in the feature. So we just sort of worked with actors that we already knew that could pull it off, and we could trust as well to actually take it on the
We knew the capability, but you're right, it's not for all actors. We actually did have the original male cast member. After several weeks into the project, we've already discussed the character and things like that. He pulled out saying that he doesn't think he can do this film. It's not his style. So the correct it can be very frightening for actors. Kind of just jump into the ocean without any life jackets. And to answer your audition question, but we did actually do some auditions for Incorporate. Because we actually shot that in the countries, we've shot in Berlin, and we've never actually even been to Berlin before, so we had to cast that online for one of the main roles. And the way we'd done that, we had the audition process where that we get the actors actually do a monologue based on the themes of the film, and then we'll do a Skype interview with them, like based on the actual character that we've written, and we'll just ask them for their kind of perspective, like what they think the character is going through, what do you think this means, and there's kind of no right or wrong answer, but it just gives us an idea of, does this person understand the character?
We'll be able to work with them to build
what are they bringing to the character and stuff like that. So it was almost like a monologue and a questionnaire.
Yeah,
that's cool.
We had to feel the connection between them and the character, what we wanted to sort of bring from the character. So that's how we sort of did incorporate.
Right. So what are you working on currently, and what's in store in the future?
Mm-hmm. We're finishing off Incorporate. We're almost finished. We're taking it to Berlin for a cast and crew screening. Then we'll do one in Malta when we get back. I think we still have a bit more changes to do. We're doing the subtitles for the Malta section because it's in Maltese dialect. So just trying to finish off that film. We have our sound designer working on that in Australia. So then when that's done, festivals and
Incorporate. We've actually been working on that for almost a couple of years now, because we originally started in Melbourne, and we started that with Clara, and then moved to Malta, shot another chapter. And just to say, it's actually about relationships, about different types of relationships.
Yeah.
It's about love, sex, and betrayal, and how different couples deal with that. So it's anthology. Is that the right words for it?
So it explores open relationships, traditional marriages. Yeah. It's a big bubble of different types of relationships around the world. We've got a gay relationship in there as well. It's all very mixed up. But it all tied together with the themes that Ivan said, like love, sex, betrayal, inner desires, lust. So it all goes together.
Yep, so that's what we're currently working on. That's probably a couple of months away from completion. And like I said earlier, we're running an outline for another feature called To Hold the Moon, which actually takes two characters from Friends, Foes and Fireworks, Summer and Lucinda, and deals with their relationship 2 years on and how they're coping.
So we're looking to shoot that in Malta and in London. We have a producer here working with us on that. So,
wow, you guys have got a lot of fires going on at the same time. That is amazing. So, and clearly, we don't have the time to cover everything that you guys are doing. So, if people want to learn more about Nexus Productions and the two of you and what you guys are working on, is there a website? Is there any social media presence like Facebook, Twitter, Instagram that people can learn more about Nexus and what the two of you are working on?
Everything stems through our website, nexusproductiongroup.com. On there, you'll find all our films. There's little pictures of all our films. You can click on there, and from there, that all links up to the separate websites. We have a website for Friends, Foes and Fireworks. We're going to have one for Incorporate soon, but not yet. We also have a Nexus newsletter. If people want to sign up, you just go to nexusproductiongroup.com, and there's a little thing there for subscribe. And we keep everybody up to date with what we're doing. We're just trying to branch everything up and make different websites for all the different films. Well, Friends, Foes and Fireworks definitely has one.
Cool.
Yeah.
Outstanding.
And do you have?
We're on Twitter. We're on Twitter as Nexus Production Group, and we're also on Instagram with Friends, Foes and Fireworks, Incorporate, and Nexus.
Okay, cool. We like to. We have a special thing tag that we do for Twitter in the WordPress plugin that we use for publishing the episodes. So that way it goes out to Twitter automatically, and we don't have to go and make a bunch of changes to it. So. That's great. This has been wonderful. Thank you for being on the show.
It's been enlightening.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. We had fun. That was a good one.
Hi, this is Jeff Thorne, head writer for Marvel's Avengers Black Panther's Quest, and it is my pleasure to let you know that you are listening to the Two Gay Geeks.
That was a very good interview. I just have to laugh at Jeffrey Thorne.
Oh, my God.
That interview was so crazy. It was all over the place.
It was.
With him.
Yeah.
Anyway, but this interview with Sarah Jayne and Yvonne was really fascinating.
Quite interesting.
As I said, I had some trepidation going into that because it's kind of like found footage films. And improv films can be
Well, I think one of
yeah.
the things that was discussed in the interview is getting the right kind of talent that can actually
Exactly.
do that kind of improvisation.
Exactly, and know their characters and having a good story arc or a line that goes through the.
Yeah, there's a lot of preparation that goes on
Absolutely.
behind the scenes and before they actually go in front of the camera.
Yeah. So anyway, we have a few selected birthdays for July 15th through July 21st, 2019. July 15th, Forrest Whitaker, Rembrandt, Alex Karras, and a friend, a Facebook friend who is part of the Beyond the Impact series, Kaimi Koaha. July 16th, Ginger Rogers, Shoeless Joe Jackson, and Orville Redenbacher.
Oh my!
Isn't that not how you say his name?
It's been so long I don't remember.
Yeah. Anyway, July 17th, Phyllis Diller, J. Michael Straczynski, and Catherine Schell.
Oh.
We just watched
City of Death.
City of Death again, a Doctor Who episode.
One
with
of our
Catherine
favorites.
Schell. Oh my gosh, it was. Yeah, we watch that 2 or 3 times a year. Yes, we're big nerds.
Oh God! That's one of our go-to Doctor Who episodes.
Yeah, it's like, well, I don't know. What do you want to watch? I don't know. What do you want?
Well,
to watch?
it either boils down to Pirate Planet, Stones of Blood, or City of Death.
Yeah,
we always
all
go,
Douglas Adams
all
episodes.
yeah, those are the 3 that we keep going back. Well, Stones of Blood is not Douglas Adams.
Oh no, no, it's not. But
it's not. But it's still very good.
Yes, it's still very good. Also, on July 17th, Art Linkletter, Facebook friend and cruising friend. We met Tom and Brigitte on
Man, was that fun?
our Alaska cruise. Oh my gosh! And
You bumped into them at Starbucks.
Actually, yes, at Starbucks prior to the cruise. I walked across the street because the Starbucks was just across the street on the other end of the block, and was standing there, and I thought they were already open, but they opened late that day. It was a holiday or something, I
think it was a holiday, yes.
And at least in Canada, we were in Vancouver, and I was standing there, and Tom was wearing a Disney jacket, and I just happened to say something about that, and he said, "Yeah, we're going on a cruise." I said, "You are? We are too." And told him about Ben and all this, and we were going with a group, and
we ended up hanging out.
Yeah, hanging out a little bit with them, and we've been trying to reconnect and do a cruise or Adventure by Disney.
Not
or
worked
go to,
out. We stayed in touch with them, but God, I would love to do that because we had so much fun. I mean, we closed down the nightclubs on the ship.
Yep.
With Tom and Brigitte several times. It was so much fun.
It was such a great time. Also on July 17th, Scott Miller and Kathy Young, friends of ours. July 18th, Kristen Bell, Vin Diesel, James Brolin, Richard Branson, Hunter S. Thompson, and Paul Verhoeven. Oh, where'd my script go? I don't know. I messed it up. It just scrolled on me. Where was I?
July 19th.
July 19th. Benedict Cumberbatch. Brian May.
By
this time we will have.
Well, by the time this episode comes out,
yeah, will we see them?
I'm not sure. This is a danger of time shifting. We're seeing Queen on July 15th.
Yeah. Okay.
Or July 16th.
Well,
crap, I can't
or
recall.
17th.
It's a Tuesday. That's all I know.
Yeah.
The Tuesday after my birthday.
Yeah. So I'm lost now. And also on July 19th, Edgar Degas.
I think, therefore,
that's not.
No, that's not Degas.
Not Degas.
Sorry.
No.
That's Nietzsche.
No.
Van Gogh.
No, he wasn't even
Da Vinci.
an artist. No.
Oh, nuts.
You got me all messed up now. I can't even
Sigmund
think.
Freud.
Yeah, Sigmund Freud. He said, "Don't think. It'll mess you up." July 19th, Facebook friends Zach Owen, who is a great opera singer, Lori Iwanski, and Paul Gravel. July 20th, Carlos Santana, Roberta Orsi, who is one of the showrunners. She was on Shoot.
Oh, well, it's Fringe.
Fringe, there we go. And among other things. Also, Alexander the Great and friends Matt Lancelotti and Rebecca Stiles. July 21st, Robin Williams. And I always want to put his birthday on here just because we give a shout out to those suicide prevention things, and please reach out for help if you are struggling. Also, Ernest Hemingway, Don Knotts. Is he Knott's Berry Farm? Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. He was the uncle of... Anyway. And Rory Culkin, who was in Song of Sway Lake with Patrick Sheehan.
Right.
And also friends Carol Yanuzzi and Sam Lowry of Arizona Opera. And that's it for the birthdays this time.
Hi, this is Holly. You're tuned in to Krypton Radio. It's sci-fi for your Wi-Fi.
Go give a listen to all of our friends over at Krypton Radio. They are 24 hours geeky internet radio station. You can't go wrong.
No.
I'm Daniel Radcliffe, and I believe that reaching out for help is the bravest thing a person can do. If you are struggling and need support, call the Trevor Lifeline at 1-866-488-7386. It's free and confidential, and trained counselors are there to listen 24/7 without judgment. To learn more about the Trevor Project's life-saving work for lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, or questioning young people, go to thetrevorproject.org.
Okay, we have some more feedback. Feedback.
Feedback, yes.
Yeah.
The feedback.
Yes, starting with episode 221, we got a comment from Rasha Muhammad.
Oh my gosh, the gift that keeps on giving.
It doesn't stop, no. And she just simply says, thank you, Two Gay Geeks, for having us on your webcast and helping us tell the story of our film, Jumper, a story that touches on the struggles, acceptance, and inclusivity of Middle Eastern LGBTQ individuals. It's a story that needs to be told.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. And then, interestingly enough, this is in regards to episode 224, and we got a comment from the Facebook page for Jumper, the short film, and they write, love you guys. Thank you so much for being you. Then we got a comment on episode 225. This is from Patricia Chica, and this is in response to feedback that she gave. So it's the gift that keeps on gifting,
yes.
I suppose. And she says, thanks so much, my dears. Kiss, hug, kiss. Then a comment from Hamish Downey. And episode 225, we interviewed J. Scott Coatsworth and what's that website? Was it Queer Sci-Fi?
Queer Sci-Fi, yes.
Yes.
Among others.
Among other things. Yeah. And J. Scott Coatsworth, in addition to being the moderator and and administrator of this enormous enterprise of Queer Sci-Fi, he's an author himself. And I bring that up for a reason. But first, we get a comment from Hamish Downey, and he says, in regards to our chat with Mr. Coatsworth, he says, what a great interview.
Yay.
Now, this is the funny thing. Here we got a man who has written books, and yet for his comment, he decided to resort to minimalism. J. Scott Coatsworth simply writes, woohoo.
Well, I think it's more of woohoo.
But it's minimalism.
Yeah. Well, he's a man of many words. But
yeah, so much for eloquence.
Few spoken.
Yes. And now, this is in regards to Ben's breakdown on Godzilla, King of the Monsters, how it roars and finally has bite. Got a comment from a friend of ours and former co-worker of Keith's. Her name is Dottie. She says, can't wait to see this one. Thanks for another great review. And then in regards to TG Geeks chat with Barbara and Brian Dillon of Fanbase Press, we got a comment from Barbara Dillon herself saying, thanks so much for chatting with us. We loved having you on. Oh my gosh,
that was great.
Such a great conversation.
They were up in our hotel suite during WhedonCon, and it was a lot of fun. They are such wonderful people.
They are wonderful people, and there was some really great topics that were being thrown about there. I thought it was a great conversation.
Yeah.
And then we close it off. This is in regards to my breakdown of the most deranged zombie film ever made, called The Dead Don't Die. Got a comment from, hey, Andrea Richoff, who writes for us, and she says, Jelly, you got to see this.
Yeah.
And
everybody should see it.
Everybody needs to see this movie.
It is deranged is right.
Absolutely mad.
It is so fun, though. It is a different take on zombie films. Anyway, you can leave a comment just like all these other people have if you want to. You can do that on our Facebook page at TG Squared Studios on Facebook. You can comment on our website at tggeeks.com. You can comment on our YouTube episodes as well as Twitter and Instagram. And everybody likes to hear the feedback and what you think. We encourage you to leave us comments about all of our content. Good or bad, we want to hear it. Just, please play nice. But if you also feel a need, you can call us and leave us a voicemail. Please, because the voicemail button is getting rusty and it needs to be worked. So call us at 469-TG-GEEKS. That is 469-844-3357. And as always, please play nice. Well,
because we're time shifting again.
We're time shifting again, and I just really don't know.
We have an idea, but we're not entirely sure at this time.
Several things in the can that we can talk about and release, but we just don't know yet. So next week will be an interesting interview nonetheless. If you are in transition or have already transitioned and are in crisis, or you know of someone in crisis, there is a special hotline just for you. The hotline is provided by translifeline.org and staffed by specially trained counselors who are transgender themselves. The hotline in the U.S. is 877-565-8860. In Canada, it is 877-330-6366. Or you can go to the translifeline.org for more information about the important work they are doing. Please reach out for help.
Yeah, baby. They're like two gay geeks. They're together, They're two gay guys and they're geeks. Is that okay?
And everybody knows what that means. That's our second segment.
That's right. And we're going to talk about a little movie we saw the other day that, my review for this is already out by the time this episode releases.
Exactly.
And it is for Spider-Man Far From Home.
Yeah. I thought it was a great film. It was just a nice, summer, fluffy, feel-good kind of film, but those are all the Spider-Man films. They're always kind of fluffy. And
especially what Marvel has been doing.
Yeah.
They don't have too much weight on them. They're not trying to create something that is like overtly serious, even though you have the action sequences that are serious. But I think what makes this one so much fun is how they've actually captured Peter Parker, the teenager.
Yeah. It was great. Peter Parker, the awkward teenager.
Well, which he is. I mean, when he's introduced in the comic book, he is a high school student.
Yep. And he's still a high school student.
Well, because he was part of the blip.
The blip.
Ooh, a spoiler.
Snap.
Thanos' a snap.
Yeah.
So, yes. And the other thing I liked about it is this felt like a real continuation off of Avengers Endgame.
It was, yeah.
I was really
great.
pleased with that. What were some of the things that you liked about this?
I just thought it was fun to see him having all these plans and all these awkward plans, and then all of a sudden it's like a non-issue thing, It just happens. So, and then all of the build up to the silly things that he's done throughout that whole film. I mean, it's a whole list of silly things, but good things.
Obviously, we don't want to give those away.
Yeah, good things nonetheless. And there was some good things and some really good interaction with the characters and some of the other characters' interactions.
I was very happy with
and so forth.
Oh my God,
et cetera, et cetera.
Yes, thank you. We get it. I was really pleased with Happy Hogan.
Yes,
I mean, I love Jon Favreau. I think he's a marvelous filmmaker, and he's actually a really good actor. If anybody wonders what kind of an actor he can be, I would recommend looking at his independent film Chef.
Yeah,
which is brilliant.
It's a great film.
But it was really great to see him take on Happy again and actually kind of take that character much more forward than we've ever seen him in the Iron Man films.
Well, this is called Far From Home. Happy gets close to home.
Yeah. A little bit of, well, it's funny you should say that, because there's a funny little bit of trivia. The first Spider-Man movie is called Homecoming, and yet poor Tom Holland, who is British, I mean, he's from London. I mean, he's as far from home as you could possibly get.
Yeah.
And then when they do Far From Home, there's a whole segment of the movie where he's actually 20 minutes from his parents' house.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah. Little bit of irony there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought it was a very delightful film.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
There's a lot of really great stuff on it. I mean, Michael Giacchino strikes again.
Absolutely. And
the man is a bloody chameleon with his composing.
I will just say that there was one moment where they're in a specific city.
Oh, yes.
That the music sounds very reminiscent of a composer that lived in there in the 18th century.
Yes.
18th century composer that lived in there and in that specific venue.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll just leave it there. It sounded, I thought they were going to play that.
Yeah.
And then it just kind of,
for a moment,
it went off to something else. But the inspiration was there from that composer. So it's really cool.
The movie, I think, is beautiful. There's some fantastic location footage. They literally went all over the world to film this thing. There is they didn't do any
with
cheats.
All the water,
Yeah, they didn't do any cheats. I mean, they went to all these different cities throughout Europe, and I think it made the movie look absolutely amazing. And Tom Holland, really, he is Spider-Man.
Yep,
he is Spider-Man. And once more, we cannot emphasize enough. You need to stay until the theater lights are fully up and the ushers are cleaning out the theater.
Absolutely.
There are 2 post-movie scenes that need to be seen, one in the middle of the credits and one that comes right after the credits. They are both really important, and that second one absolutely made my head snap off.
Exactly.
Because now I got to rethink everything that I've seen with this one particular character,
exactly.
Wondering,
okay,
is that legitimate or not?
Yep.
So, but yes, go see Spider-Man Far From Home. It is a fun
You'll love
movie.
It.
I really liked it.
It's popcorn film.
It's a pure popcorn fun, but it's worthy of being called Marvel. It's fantastic. I just loved it.
Yep. And as always, we are huge supporters of independent creators, whether it's filmmakers, comic book artists, writers, or others. Please, if you go to a con or a book fair or where other independent creators, whether it's a festival or whatnot, please look at their stuff. Tell them that you like their stuff, chat them up, tell other people about their stuff, and oh my gosh, buy their stuff.
That's a great idea.
If you like it, buy it and tell people you bought it. Please have cash for them. They don't need the extra credit card fees. Please consider supporting independent creators. CocoCon returns for a second year. This is a combination between the Central Arizona Speculative Fiction Society and I completely lost it now.
It was CopperCon and CocoPelliCon.
Yep. So Western SFA, that's what the 2 organizations that are combined. So they are doing a con together, and it's Labor Day weekend at the Doubletree Hotel at Metro Center in Phoenix. We ran a press release, and you can see all of the things. You can go to their website. There's still rooms available. Come on down. It's kind of do a little staycation in Phoenix if you're from the Phoenix area. It's a lot of fun to stay at the hotel. There's lots of stuff going on, lots of parties, lots of things, and people to see, things to do, all that kind of stuff. Come on down. We'll be there. We're going to be doing our popular podcast as well as socializing. You can find out more by going to cococon.org. That's COCOCON.org. Joshua Tree Feeding Program. The goal of Joshua Tree Feeding Program is to provide nourishment to low-income HIV-positive residents of Maricopa County. They provide balanced meals from their pantry, and it is a pantry where clients can go in and choose the things they want just like a grocery store. Please consider supporting Joshua Tree either through a single gift or a monthly recurring gift. You can actually do whatever kind of monthly recurring gift, but if you give at least $30 a month, you will be part of the Pearl program, and you'll get a nice lapel pin for signing up for that. Go to jtfp.org. Well, here is a weekly recap of what we think we're going to run this last week.
Right, we're guessing.
We're really time shifted here.
Yes.
So forgive us.
Yes. So on Sunday, July 7th, there will be another issue of Dr. Zombie from Tommy Cannon.
Yep.
On Monday, July 8th, TG Geeks episode 229. On Tuesday, July 9th, the review for Spider-Man Far From Home. On Wednesday, July 10th, Jeannie's Restaurants on the Road. On Thursday, July 11th, we'll have a review for The Art of Self-Defense. That is a new movie coming out. And on Friday, July 12th, another article of News Sushi, morsels of news from Japan and beyond. And then on Saturday, July 13th, 5 questions with, and we have no idea who yet.
Yep, and that's another Hamish Downey thing. You
Right.
can find all these things at tggeeks.com as well as entries on our Facebook page, Twitter, and Instagram. Please visit and comment on all of those things.
We have some shout-outs to give. First to Brian Weber on Twitter. He is known as the Human Arkle, and he puts out the Arkle Times Post-Dispatch News, which republishes much of our content from time to time. You can find the Arkle Times Post-Dispatch News by going to Twitter and searching for the Human Arkle. You do that by searching at Arkle, A-R-K-L-E. And he is also on YouTube with the Shameless Cash Grab. He's in Season 3 right now, and you can find that by going to youtube.com/Arkle Studios. All one word, A-R-K-L-E-S-T-U-D-I-O-S, and we will have the link for that in our show notes. And we must also give some shout-outs to some Facebook groups for allowing us to post our episodes and relevant articles on their pages. First, Two Gay Geeks After Hours. Big thanks to their moderators for literally telling us, share away, when we asked if we could share our content there. And their URL is facebook.com/group/Gay Geeks After Hours. And then to The Gay Geek for also allowing us to share much of our content there. And their URL is facebook.com/group/The Gay Geek. And as always, we must give our special thanks and appreciation to their moderator, Jeremiah Reeves.
Thank you, Jeremiah. It's amazing. We've been doing that for 2 years now.
Has it been 2 years?
Yeah, it's a long time. Yeah. Thank you for letting us do that. And lastly, we are now found on Spotify, TuneIn, Stitcher, as well as where other fine podcasts can be found. Also, check us out on Krypton Radio at 3 a.m. and 3 p.m. Pacific Time on Tuesdays. Also, listen to the rest of their content, their 24-hour geeky internet radio station. Please rate us and review us on iTunes, and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Okay, that should do it for this episode of TG Geeks Webcast. Be sure to check out the article for this webcast episode. We'll have several links on the page. And remember, you can comment on our Facebook page or our website, tggeeks.com, as well as Twitter and Instagram. Or you can leave us a voicemail at 469-TG-Geeks. That is 469-844-3357 from TG Squared Studios. I'm Keith Lane. Thanks for listening. Please be kind. Peace.
Cheers.